Are you ready?
We can't have 40 cars running in one pack. It's ludicrous. There's something bad going to happen.
You know, I think everybody's kind of on the edge of their seat there before a plate race. Definitely.
Because?
Just because you don't want to go out and get caught up in a, 20-car wreck.
Do you start thinking about that from the time you go into the track?
Well, probably about the week before.
Do you find it exciting, Jeff, or do you dread going back there?
I'm finding it to be less and less fun.
Unfortunately, right now, with the current rules, I dread going there.
Because?
I don't like running that tight together. I don't trust a lot of guys around me.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
It used to be the last place you ever wanted to be was in the middle, 3 wide. Now we're searching for it, hoping you get in the middle, because that's the only lane that moves forward.
You know, it's such a cat and mouse game, you get yourself positioned, and it's easy to get yourself trapped.
You're sandwiched right here in the middle, and you can't pull out and pass nobody. You can't even pull out and get out of the way.
It's like being in rush hour traffic and being a foot away from somebody on all 4 sides. So it's very anxious. It's not a fun experience to be out there.
You're always on a defensive side because you go in there and you know what's going to happen.
There's either going to be a big wreck or there's not. And, I'm either going to be in it or I'm not. And I just don't worry about those things.
Because we are all bunched up, a lucky few get through and the others get collected.
Tough situation because you don't have any room for error and there's no margin for error. So we've seen it happen before. Good drivers do make mistakes.
And it's almost just like, who's the bravest guy here? And that's not really what our racing's about.
Well, for the first time today, all 43 drivers in the starting field will be wearing some type of head and neck restraint system. NASCAR made that mandatory beginning with this race. To compete, you must wear it. There are 2 other minor rule modifications for today. The rear spoiler on the Ford is now 1.5 inches more narrow from side to side, and that roof blade on top of the Pontiac was narrowed up from top to bottom by 1/8 of an inch. Most of the guys in the garage area believe that's more about political correctness than improving competition. But don't worry.
Last week we were at Martinsville Speedway, half-mile flat track racing. This week we're at Talladega Superspeedway, 4 wide, fast and furious racing. One of the reasons for that is what I'm standing on right here in the corners. 33 degrees of banking. I've skied down black diamonds that weren't as steep as this. Got 2.6 miles of this. That's why you get such good racing at near 200-mile-per-hour speeds. I'm sitting here in the BSR safety buck trying to demonstrate how much angle we are when we're on the corners here at Talladega Superspeedway. 33 degrees. Right now I want to fall out the left side window. But when you're at speed at this racetrack, the G-forces are actually pushing you down into the seat and over to the right. To me, this is one of the coolest places in the world to drive. And that's why I think today you'll see some of the most exciting racing you've seen all year in NASCAR Winston Cup.
Wally Dahlbeck talked about the 33-degree banks. I found that the straightaways, you find as much trouble here at Talladega on the straightaways as you do the corner. You asked me one time earlier today how many spots on the racetrack I'd hit, and you asked about the backstretch. I spun off turn 2 and went all the way down the backstretch, so I've hit every spot of the backstretch. You cannot escape the problems at Talladega. Wherever they happen, you're involved in.
So you not only know the track real well, you're very intimate with the wall.
Yes, all of them, all around the track.
Well, there are 43 starters in today's race, including all 3 cars from Petty Enterprises, led by Kyle Petty. He will start 8th. It's the first time in 4 races all 3 Petty cars have made the race. Next, the problems and the promise of Petty Enterprises. NBC Sports is live at Talladega for the EA Sports 500. presented by Dodge. The frustrating season for Team Petty continued on Saturday. John Andretti and Buckshot Jones were involved in the crash in final practice. Andretti qualified 7th, but falls to the back in his backup car. It has been a tough year for those guys. Next year, Petty Enterprises has all 3 of its drivers back in the same seat, and a brand new engine program led by veteran engine builder Mike Agee. The hope is that more power and fewer problems can help restore the Petty pride in the Winston Cup Series. But as Kyle Petty is quick to point out, the race to respectability is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
There's always a mountain in front of me. Seems I'm always climbing, stumbling, and then falling, and then climbing. But I keep on trying.
Our performance on the racetrack has been horrendous.
It's just been basically a disaster from the standpoint of what we thought we could be able to do with the cars.
The season's been disappointing because you gave up a little bit of last year to build for this year.
We keep getting a little better, and it's like we need to make a jump to here and then progress. We're always just a little bit behind.
Once powerful Petty Enterprises has found it hard for the present to catch up with the past. This year, the organization didn't just start over, they did a complete makeover with a decision to switch to Dodge. But on the track, just one top 5 in 71 starts.
We didn't get behind going to Dodge, let me say that. We were behind before we went to Dodge. And the whole process of going to Dodge was to get us caught up. We had to change the way we did things here at Petty Enterprises. We had to change the way people thought about building race cars. When you've done something one way for 15 years, it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks. We made a commitment for 5 years to do something one way. And just because the results haven't been there on the racetrack yet, doesn't mean the results won't be there on the racetrack.
As CEO, Kyle's concern is finding success. Originally, he was focused on building a winning future for his son, Adam. Now he remains a one-man corporate machine, his foot to the floor, driven to recapture the glory so closely connected with the Petty name.
For me, I could see it. You know, when Adam was here, there was a real, you know, meaning to the madness that existed in Kyle, and we haven't lost any of that. It's and to me, deep down, you know that there's a major void there. That, you know, what drives him.
He's worked real hard on this Dodge program, putting all the teams together and the sponsors, and then trying to drive the car himself and then do the business part. It's wearing him down pretty good.
Oh yeah, give me that, I can do it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's not a problem, I'll go do that for you. Oh yeah, you know, and you just keep adding it up, and the next thing you know, you're doing 20 things, and you're thinking, God, I can't do 20 things.
Do you understand if fans might question his commitment to being successful on the track at this point with what's gone on?
Yeah, definitely, and he does too.
You know, the point is, if Kyle Petty can't get the job done, then we'll get somebody in here who can drive the car and get the job done.
What he's looking at, he said, okay, we're changing cars, we're changing different things on the car. If I'm out there and I talk to our drivers, I can really relate to what they're saying.
For fans to question me, or sponsors to question me, hey, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Because inside my little world right here, I know where we're going and what we're doing, and I know the direction we're headed in. And I think I'm dedicated to making and putting Petty Enterprise back where it needs to be, and that's back in the top 3 or 4 teams.
If Kyle can return the organization to a top 5 team, no one, not even the competition, would complain. But for now, the plan for everyone at Petty Enterprises is simple. Just try to be king for a day.
I'm telling you that they put their heart and soul into this, and you know, that's what I like about being over here.
When things go bad, they get stronger and not weaker.
I enjoy the challenge of trying to bring something that once was and then went away and bring it back to being something.
It's been tough on the crew, on the sponsors, what fans we had, but there's always another day. And hopefully there's always a better day, and we're going to keep working at it till we get there.
Everybody at Petty Enterprises agrees Kyle is doing the work of 10 men, and that was the case here on Saturday afternoon. After that crash in final practice, Kyle on the ground with the rubber mallet trying to make repairs to the car of Buckshot Jones. You must understand, a win by any car from Petty Enterprises would be one of the most popular victories in the history of NASCAR Winston Cup racing.